At the Academic Success Center, students often share how challenging it can be to find time to study and to recall information during exams. This makes sense. The 10-week term goes by fast. You need effective strategies so you can recall information and apply it when needed, whether that's on an exam, in future courses in a series, or a new context. ALS 199 introduces memory concepts that can help you make strategic choices about studying. Multi-store model of memory. We're starting the course learning about the multi-store model of memory, an information processing model created in 1968 by psychologists Richard Atkinson and Richard Schifrin. The stages of the multi-store model provide the overarching structure for our course. This video will walk you through the model. Throughout the course, we'll dive deeper into each stage of the model. Our class activities will help you better understand the memory concepts from this video and choose strategies for maximizing learning. Sensory register. The first stage in the model is input from your environment. You may hear, see, feel, or otherwise encounter information, which enters your sensory register. While we encounter a lot of input throughout the day, we don't remember it all. If you think about standing in line at a coffee shop, riding the bus home, or other daily routines, you likely don't remember everything you heard, saw, or felt in these situations. The sensory register has a very short duration, only a fraction of a second. This means that unless you focus your attention, the input will be forgotten almost immediately. For example, if I'm on the bus and I see a new mural depicting a bright orange octopus, focusing my attention on this magnificent mollusk allows the information to move into working memory. In contrast, if nothing catches my attention, I may not remember much from my bus ride home. Attention. Let's connect input to learning from a lecture or an assigned reading for class. Have you ever zoned out for a minute during lecture and missed content? Or have you ever gotten to the end of the page in a textbook only to realize that you don't remember anything you just read? This likely happened because even though input was present, your attention was not focused on that input. Attention is an essential starting point for processing information. Once you focus your attention on input, you move information into working memory, also called short-term memory. Working memory. Working memory has a longer duration than the sensory register and holds information you're actively thinking about for 10 to 20 seconds. For example, if I tell you the phone number for the frozen yogurt shop, you can likely hold that information in working memory long enough to dial the number. If you rehearse the information by repeating it to yourself, you can keep it in working memory even longer. If you don't rehearse or write down the number, it will quickly be forgotten. Information is available in working memory only so long as you're actively engaging with it. Let's think about lecture again. When you listen during a lecture, you pay attention, so information is held in working memory. If your attention shifts to a phone notification or to lunch plans after class, working memory shifts along with your attention. Instructors often emphasize the importance of note-taking. This is because taking notes not only gives you information to study later, it also heightens attention and starts the transfer of information from working memory to long-term memory through a process called encoding. Transfer and long-term memory. Long-term memory retains information for an extended period of time. It has a larger capacity and longer duration than working memory. While its capacity is not yet defined, psychologists theorize that it may be limitless, with memory duration lasting years or a lifetime. You can transfer information to long-term memory by encoding it in meaningful ways. You begin this process during lecture by paying attention and taking notes in your own words. However, for complex understanding and long-term retention, taking and rereading notes isn't enough. You also need to make meaning of information. You can do this by developing connections between new and past information and experiences. This process is called elaboration. When you reach the point where you can identify needed information, retrieve it from memory, and apply it at will, you've successfully formed long-term memories. Retrieval. One of the most effective strategies for developing long-term memories is retrieval practice. Retrieval is the act of recalling information from memory. When you retrieve information, it becomes active in your working memory, so you can apply it in the moment, like when you recall a formula and use it to answer an exam question. Retrieval practice can contribute to forming stable, long-term memories. We'll learn strategies for attention, encoding, elaboration, and retrieval in the coming weeks. In conclusion, the multi-store model of memory illustrates how learning is a process that occurs over time. In ALS 199, we'll dive deeper into each stage of the model and explore strategies that can help you make the most of your study time.